Hey everybody, welcome in to Sports Live in the 215. Um, Today we'll discuss the Phillies' disheartening series loss to the Minnesota Twins, as they were really in a large majority of all three games. So it's very upsetting that they were not able to at least come out with a series win. I know Minnesota has routinely been one of the top teams in the American League, if not baseball, but um, it's still frustrating that when you're considered the best team in baseball and you drop 2 out of 3 to what what many would consider an inferior opponent to you. I mean, and they are an inferior opponent record wise, maybe even talent wise. I know they're missing some pieces, but yeah, if you're the best team in baseball and you're in 3 games against anybody, you should at least come out with 2 out of 3 majority of the time. And unfortunately, the Phillies, um, since really the Dodgers series, have just seemed to be in some sort of a funk, and hopefully getting home can kind of snap them out of it. So hopefully that happens. And um, with that being said, let's, as tough as this is, let's talk about it, and we can all kind of use this podcast as sort of a therapy session. Like you can all get your thoughts and emotions out, or I'll get my thoughts and emotions out, and these thoughts and feelings might be yours as well. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Um, hold on 1 second. Let me just open my phone up. Um, on Monday night, the Phillies sent Ranger Suarez to the mound, and I thought he looked okay. He went 5 1/3, allowed 3 earned runs, um, walked 1 and struck out 4. He looked okay, but he was nowhere close to the dominant Ranger Suarez that many Phillies fans have gotten used to over the past, really, I want to say 3 years, going back to 2021. Um, so it's just frustrating. Hopefully he can. This was hopefully he can kind of continue to build off what he did on Monday night, because we need more of that Ranger Suarez as opposed to the Ranger Suarez that started the A's series. He he made he made the Oakland A's look like a self-respecting franchise. He was just not great in that start, but today or Monday, I thought he looked okay. Still, he he looked like he was kind of fighting himself on certain spots throughout the game. But hopefully he can build off that. Someone who did not look like they were fighting themselves basically for their entire outing was Bailey Ober, the Twins starter Monday night, he went. Let me see. He went 7 innings. He he went he went seven innings, scattering 4 hits, um, 4 hits, two runs on a Bryce Harper home run in the first inning, and that Bryce Harper home run was the Phillies' only form of offense. They were in the game until the eighth inning. In the eighth inning, it was a 4-2 ball game, but then the Twins got 3 runs in the bottom of the eighth and just kind of put the game out of reach. So that made it a 7-2 ball game. Certainly not the best way to start the last leg of a road trip. And then the very next day, it was luckily a lot closer and a more entertaining game to watch as the Phillies veteran right-hander Zach Wheeler went 7 innings and 7 innings of shutout ball, and Twins rookie Simeon Woods oh my goodness, excuse me, Simeon Woods Richardson went 6 shutout innings. So anytime you can get 2 starters that go a combined 13 innings of shutout baseball, it's really good for both sides. And it was really no quarter given, no quarter taken by these two pitching staffs until the bottom of the ninth, where Bryce Harper started the inning off with a double off Twins, double off the Twins shutdown closer, Yohan Duran, and he doubled on a curveball, which for me, I see that as a very questionable decision because Yohan Duran, for those that don't know, I want to say he throws like 101, 102. So his best pitch is the old numero uno, the fastball. So I really gotta question that decision, and then of course Alec Boehm hit an RBI double to score Bryce, and then JT Realmuto walked, and then Nick Castellanos hit a two-run RBI double to make the score to make the score 3-0, and Matt Strom came in to kind of close the game down. So yeah, the Phillies were able to kind of set up the rubber match for Wednesday. And then on Wednesday night, Wednesday at 1, the Phillies got a great pitching performance from their other ace, Aaron Nola. He went 6 innings, um, allowed a run on a home run. Um, he struck out 7. Um, he he struck out 7, um, and gave up just that solo homer. I thought other than the home run, he was as advertised. He had a few innings there where he kind of let his pitch count ride up a little bit, but other than that, I thought he was as advertised. He was chef's kiss. He was great. There aren't enough really words in the English language to kind of describe how good he was. I guess if I had to come up with a word, it would probably be fantastic, because that's what he was. That's probably the best word I can use to describe it. And then, similar to 2 days prior, after the 7th inning, the Phillies bats kind of went cold, and it allowed the Twins, to kind of get back in the game, and they were able to walk the game off in the bottom of the 9th off of a very questionable decision by Rob Thompson, because he put in Gregory Soto instead of Alvarado or Hoffman or Strom or one of your big time guys. Like, why you would put in a guy like Gregory Soto, I don't understand. The love affair that Rob Thompson has with Soto, I don't get. And people who've listened to the podcast, you guys know me. I like Rob. I really do. It's just sometimes he falls in love with the philosophy of let me bring this guy in this situation and hope he gets out of it, and that gives him confidence, which I like it in most instances, but this is one where I would have necessarily gone, or I wouldn't have gone the Gregory Soto route. I would have necessarily more gone to either, if not one of your top dogs, maybe someone like Sir Anthony Dominguez, because I feel like he's starting to gain a good amount of confidence. So that's definitely a curious decision from Rob, but I'm not gonna crush Rob Thompson about it. It was just a bad decision, and of course, if it worked, he would have been hailed as a genius, but because it didn't, we kind of looked at it differently. Maybe not hailed as a genius, but maybe it wouldn't have been as crucified as critically as it was. But yeah, the Phillies have an off day today. They will welcome in the Cleveland Guardians, formerly known as the Indians, on Friday through Sunday. All right. Yeah, and I just think that, or actually, getting back to the Phillies bullpen before I wrap this up, they just kind of they just kind of seem to be leaking oil a little bit. There are a few guys that might be going through a bit of a dead arm period, or like just lacking confidence. Maybe they're kind of gripping the ball too tight. Kind of maybe they're pressing a little bit too much. Maybe they're trying to throw the best fastball ever, or like maybe they're trying to make each pitch the best pitch ever. And when you do that, you end up you end up um, forcing pitches over the middle of the plate, and um, that's when big league pitching gets crushed when they either they spike pitches or they leave pitches up. Um, well, you don't get crushed if you spike pitches, but eventually it bites you in the butt for sure. So I just I just hope the bullpen kind of is able to straighten itself out. I know um, there are calls for getting Mason Miller at the deadline. I don't, as much as I would love that, I don't think Oakland would necessarily go for that, because a team in a deep rebuild like the Oakland A's needs needs a piece like Mason Miller to kind of build their foundation around. So I don't necessarily know if we're gonna get a Brent Rooker or a Mason Miller or a Luis Robert type of piece, because teams like Chicago and Oakland need those guys to be foundations of a rebuild. Maybe more so, Oakland needs Miller and Rooker than Chicago would need Robert for a rebuild, because I believe Luis Robert is maybe a couple years older. Um, but yeah, we'll soon see when as the deadline approaches, or we'll see what happens as the trade deadline approaches. And I'm excited for the rest of the baseball season. Eagles training camp just kicked off, so that's exciting. Um, Matvey Michkov has landed in Philly. Um, Landed in Philly. Paul George just had his press conference, so it seems like things are coming up roses this year so far for Philly, and I'm certainly excited to see what with Saquon Barkley and a bunch of those new pieces, how they'll fit for the Eagles. That should be a fun story to follow. So as promised, like over the next like couple months, you guys are gonna have not just baseball content, but a lot of content from all around Philadelphia sports. So that should be exciting, and I personally really can't wait for it. Um, be on the lookout for that. And thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. Go Phillies.